This week on A Brit in Poland, I take you to the kind of northeastern tip of the country because we are in Suwałki. Well, actually more specifically, we are now in the Vigri National Park. Suwałki is like the main city, the capital of this region, and we've been camping here for the last 3 nights. This is Sunday and our last day. This area is characteristic because there is a lot of very natural woodland here, and you have a lot of lakes. There's a cool monastery which is looking great on the lake, and Suwałki is also known as the coldest part of Poland. We've come here in mid-August and it's been pretty warm, but compared to Warsaw, certainly about 10 degrees lower, which actually was good because in Warsaw it was about 35 degrees when we left. But I hope you find this video interesting. A lot of beautiful natural views and a lot to discover. So please stay tuned. Dzień dobry and welcome to A Brit in Poland. With this channel, I travel across the country, I bring you the culture, and I show you just how amazing Poland is. So I invite you on my journey. If you want to see more, I have Facebook and Instagram profiles, which you will find links to in the description below. And if you want to really help out, you can turn to my Patreon or Patronite accounts, again in the description. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Do zobaczenia.
For me, Suwałki really is Poland's most peaceful escape. A place where the forests stretch out on without end. Lakes hide quietly among the trees, and everything seems to slow down, including you. I came here in August, and what I found wasn't spectacle or noise, but something far more rare. Space, calm, and a quiet kind of beauty that stays with you. So in this video, I want to take you through Suwałki as I experienced it. On foot, on the trails, through the lakes and forests, and into the small moments that make this region such a perfect escape. Once you leave the town behind, Suwałki opens up quickly. The land here feels wide and old, shaped by ice, time, and patience rather than drama. Walking these trails, I felt like a wilderness explorer, not because the terrain is extreme, but because it invites you to keep going. There's no pressure here, just a quiet sense of movement and discovery. The land rolls gently, opening up into wide fields and soft hills, shaped by time rather than force. It feels expansive without ever being overwhelming. The forests here don't close in on you. They feel calm, almost protective. Places where walking slows naturally and the noise of everything else fades away. This part of Poland was shaped by glaciers and centuries of quiet change, and you feel that patience in the land. Nothing here feels rushed, not even you. Water is everywhere in this region, and with it the landscape shifts, from wide and open to calm, reflective, and deeply personal. The larger lakes here feel open and reassuring. They slow you down naturally, inviting you to stop, sit, and simply take in what's around you. Then there are the smaller lakes, known locally as Suchas, tucked away amongst the trees, darker in colour, quieter, and more intimate. Each one felt different, almost like it had its own character. Places you discover rather than arrive at. Interestingly, Sucha pulls double duty in Polish. Out here, it's these hidden, still waters tucked away in the forest. But elsewhere, it means a dry jug. You know, the kind that's so corny it leaves you parched. Yet in Suwałki, it's anything but dry. It's refreshingly calm and full of quiet depth. One lake that stayed with me was Jezioro Gałęziste. Visually, it's peaceful, enclosed by forest, still almost introspective. This lake and the surrounding forest also inspired a novel by local author Artur Urbanowicz, a story that uses this landscape as something far darker. Not because the place is frightening, but because environments this quiet have a way of working on the imagination. Long before modern Poland, this region was home to Baltic pagan peoples who treated forests and lakes with deep respect. Certain waters were left untouched, not feared, but acknowledged. Places like this weren't meant to be conquered, but approached with care. Standing here now, what I felt wasn't darkness, it was balance. A sense that these waters have been quietly shaping thoughts and stories for centuries. After spending time by the water, it felt natural to move toward a place shaped by reflection. Somewhere people had come for centuries to step away from the world. By the time I reached Vigri, the long walk and the heat was starting to catch up with me. The first priority wasn't history or architecture, it was shade, cold drinks, and a moment to cool down. There's something very human about that moment, arriving tired, thirsty, and grateful for a place that lets you slow down before it asks anything of you. And once inside the monastery, everything shifts. The noise drops away, movement softens, and a place reveals a quiet sense of importance. Vigri doesn't feel imposing or grand in a dramatic way. It feels deliberate, a place chosen for separation, reflection, and calm. You can sense why people came here to step back from the world, not to escape it entirely, but to hear themselves think. And yet, just outside the walls, there's life. Food stalls, people gathering, music playing, a quiet celebration unfolding alongside the stillness. It's a reminder that peace doesn't mean isolation. Here, reflection and community exist side by side, each making the other richer. and that balance felt very fitting for this region. Calm without emptiness, warmth without noise. Leaving Vigri, I kept thinking about how calm and community have always existed side by side here, not just in faith, but in everyday life too. For centuries, life here wasn't about conquering the land, it was about understanding it, working with the seasons, the forests, and the wildlife that surrounded you. Seeing the animals of this region laid out like this gives you a clearer sense of what nature really meant here, not as scenery, but as something present, known and respected. The farming tools tell a similar story, practical, simple, and shaped by necessity. Life here was never about excess, just balance. These small museums help connect the calm of the landscape with the rhythm of daily life, a reminder that this beauty has always been lived in, not just admired. And with that understanding, the city of Suwałki begins to make sense. After time in the forests, lakes and monasteries, the city of Suvalki feels like a reset. It's practical, grounded and functional, a place that exists to support life in the region rather than compete with it. Visually it's modest, but that modesty carries layers once you start paying attention. Compared to the landscapes around it, Suvalki is a relatively young city. It began to take shape in the late 17th and 18th centuries, growing around trade routes, monasteries, and its position near shifting borders. Unlike many Polish cities shaped by medieval walls or royal courts, Suwałki developed with a more practical purpose, as a regional hub built to function rather than impress. And that history still shows today. The city feels orderly, grounded, and quietly purposeful. Through the 19th and 20th centuries, Suwałki found itself influenced by partitions, borders, and changing powers. A familiar story in this part of Poland. But what emerged wasn't grandeur, but resilience. A city shaped by everyday life rather than monuments. Small details help soften the city. Murals adding colour, parks offering pockets of calm, and a pace that never feels rushed. One place in the city that really stood out for me was the traditional Tatar cuisine. The food was beautifully prepared, generous in portion, and deeply satisfying. It didn't feel rushed or commercial. Sitting down here felt like an experience, a reminder of the cultures that have quietly shaped this region over time. So I do recommend trying out Kuchnia Tatarska u Alika, which is just south of one of the parks. And one of the most important figures connected to Suwałki is Maria Konopnicka, a poet, writer, and storyteller whose work gave voice to ordinary people at a time when Poland itself was struggling to exist. She wrote about social injustice, national identity, and everyday life, often through simple stories that carried much deeper meaning. In many ways, her work mirrors this city, unassuming on the surface but layered with meaning once you step inside. And the Maria Konopnicka Museum was one of the most surprising places I visited here. The interiors were beautiful, almost magical, and created a space that felt intimate rather than formal. It's not just a museum about her life, but a quiet invitation to slow down and listen, much like her writing itself. One of the small details that gives Suwałki its character is the collection of krasnoludki, little statues scattered around the city. They're part of a wider Polish tradition of using small public art to bring a bit of playfulness into everyday space, encouraging people to slow down, explore, and look more closely. Hunting them down turned into a surprisingly enjoyable challenge. Some are easy to spot, others less so, and having a proper map made all of the difference. And you can find this map at the sports stadium. In a city that's practical and understated, these small figures add warmth without trying to transform it into something it isn't. It's a simple idea, but it suits Suwałki perfectly. After a few days moving between forests, lakes, and the city, it was time to leave Suwałki. And while the journey home felt long, I realized I was leaving with something I didn't arrive with, a sense of calm that stayed with me. This region doesn't overwhelm or demand attention. It offers space instead. To walk, to think, and to simply be present. From the open landscape to the still water, to the stories and people who've lived alongside it, Suwałki feels like a place that gives more than it takes. For me, it really is Poland's most peaceful escape, and one I'll carry with me long after the journey ends. If you're seeking your own quiet reset, Suwałki awaits. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you would like to see more of my videos, please do subscribe to the channel. I've been a Brit in Poland. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Do zobaczenia.